Hello everyone, welcome to the course on medical law. This lecture will be about role of intellectual property rights in promoting medical innovation and technology. The concepts covered in this lecture are intellectual property rights and healthcare, promoting and fostering pharma innovations, role of intellectual property rights in promoting cooperation, knowledge exchange and pharma, healthcare and intellectual property policy. The keywords of this lecture can be seen here. The healthcare industry is inherently interconnected with fields like bioinformatics, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, drug discovery, medical and clinical research, diagnostics, medical devices and pharmacological goods. With clear and reliable intellectual property rights, innovations in Indian pharma can have a significant effect on both the world's access to healthcare and the country's economic prosperity. There are two policy issues with regard to Indian pharmaceutical industry. One, we have to take care of the requirements of the Indian population, which is now the highest in the world. Second, India is also considered as the pharmaceutical factory of the world, especially the developing countries in the third world. So, these two considerations we always have to keep in mind while designing the pharmaceutical policy in India. With regard to the pharmaceutical policy in India, intellectual property rights has a significant effect. I have already told in the beginning that pharmaceutical industry is not just manufacturing the drugs, but it also involves various allied sectors like the drug discovery part, which will include bioinformatics, biotechnology, pharmacological research, clinical research and many other things. And apart from all this, there are also several different types of devices which are used both in diagnosis as well as in treatment of various medical conditions. So, there will be intellectual property rights associated with these devices as well. Then apart from all this, there are also different methods, practices and techniques involved in treatment, managing of data and many other things. And there are also different softwares which are used in the healthcare industry. So, all these will have intellectual property rights associated with it. Now, let us see what is intellectual property rights. Intellectual property protect the original work of human creativity, whether it is a work of art, literature, technology or science. When someone invents or creates something, the law gives the person intellectual property right to protect that thing for a certain period of time. These are in effect legal rights given to the inventor, creator or his assignee the sole right to commercially exploit the intellectual property rights. So, intellectual property rights is actually a very common word now. Everybody knows the general meaning of the term IPR. It simply means that there is an innovation or a new creative work that have come into existence through human contribution. So, whoever has created it or invented it will be given a legal right for a defined period of time. This will allow that person to commercially exploit that creative work or the invention. This is what intellectual property rights means. So, now let us see what is the role of intellectual property rights in the healthcare industry. Starting with promoting and fostering innovation and research. So, pharmaceutical industry is a very research intensive sector. So, there needs to be a lot of innovations and research in the healthcare industry in order to meet the growing requirements of the public health. So, fostering and promotion of innovations in the healthcare industry is a significant policy imperative of the government. In this, intellectual property rights has a significant role to play. Second is advancing the availability of secure and efficacious pharmaceuticals. So, one thing, we have to increase the availability of pharmaceutical products. It could be in the form of modern drugs, it could be in the form of various devices used in the treatment. Whatever it be, we have to increase the availability of pharmaceutical innovations for the general public. Second is, we also have to ensure the standards. So, in both these things, intellectual property rights has a significant role. Third one is promoting cooperation and exchange of technological knowledge. Pharmaceutical industry is one sector where there is lot of transfer and exchange of innovations and knowledge take place. Many times competing industries also will decide to collaborate together and contribute for development of a product for a particular kind of disease. So, for promoting cooperation and exchange of technological knowledge also, there will be need of intellectual property based agreements. The fourth one is promoting economic expansion and fostering employment opportunities. So, as you all know, pharmaceutical industry is having a significant role in the global economy. So, promoting its economic expansion and also fostering employment opportunities, in this also intellectual property rights has a role. Fifth one is ensuring the protection of patient safety and upholding high standards of quality. Ensuring the quality or standards of pharmaceutical products is very important. In this also intellectual property rights has a role. Apart from all this, it has an overall role in the pharmaceutical business. So, in the healthcare industry, the business models are always allied with the intellectual property requirements. Now, let us start with promoting and fostering innovation and research. Patent confers exclusive privileges to inventors, enabling them to safeguard their inventions and recoup their investment through commercialization. So, once an innovation is developed by an inventor, he can acquire a patent over it, which will allow him an exclusive right to commercialize that invention. So, during the continuance of the patent, only he will be able to commercially exploit the innovation. This will give him a time within which he can recoup the investment that he has made for the development of the innovation and also can make some profit. So, patents in effect incentivize corporations to allocate resources towards research and development by granting them an exclusive right, ensuring that innovations are safeguarded and granting them a competitive edge in the marketplace. So, pharmaceutical research requires huge investment. So, patent ensures that the corporations who are investing in the research and development will be given a market exclusivity for a limited period of time, within which they can recoup the investment they made and also can make some profit. Now, let us see advancing the availability of secure and efficacious pharmaceuticals. Intellectual property rights maintain a delicate balance by motivating innovation while also guaranteeing the accessibility to reasonably priced medications. So, this is a critical challenge here. On the one side, you have to ensure that there is adequate incentives available for the industry to contribute for research and development. But at the same time, we also have to ensure that the pharmaceutical drugs or devices are available to the general public at an affordable price. So, here a balance has to be maintained. The patents grants exclusive rights, but they have a limited duration, enabling the pharmaceutical companies to regain their investment during the period of exclusivity. So, this is how the balance is maintained. Once the patent is granted, it enables the company to recoup the investment and make some profit. But this exclusivity is only for a limited period of time. So, after the expiry of the term period, then anybody will be free to manufacture the drug or the device, so that affordable access of the device or the medical product is ensured for the general public. Upon the expiration of the patent, the production of generic versions of the medicine becomes permissible, leading to heightened competition and decreased pricing. So, you know the market conditions. So, initially when the product was under the patent, then the price will be relatively high and it can have some impact on the affordability of the drug. But once the patent period is expired, then it will become possible for other companies to come out with generic versions and then automatically the price will come down. The method fosters ingenuity while facilitating cost effective availability of secure and efficacious medicines for the patients globally. So, this ensures that cost effective medical products or pharmaceutical products are available to the general public everywhere across the world. Now, let us see promoting cooperation and exchange of technological knowledge. Pharmaceutical companies frequently form partnerships, so license agreements and research collaborations to merge their knowledge, resources and technology with an objective to create novel medications is a common industry practice in the pharmaceutical sector. Intellectual property protection facilitates the exchange of knowledge, so expediting research and development which eventually will benefit the patients. Now, let us see promoting economic expansion and fostering employment opportunities. The pharmaceutical industry plays a substantial role in fostering economic growth and generating employment opportunities across the globe. The intellectual property safeguards entice investments. It will attract investment, it will incentivize the pharmaceutical companies to create research and production infrastructures, which will result in generation of top tier employment opportunities. So, intellectual property rights or having a robust intellectual property ecosystem in the country will incentivize the pharmaceutical industry to invest in research and production infrastructures. So, this will lead to setting up of pharmaceutical industry within the country. So, this will automatically lead to generation of employment opportunities. So, now let us see the next role of intellectual property rights. It also has a role in ensuring the safety of patients and upholding high standards of quality. Intellectual property rights gives a market exclusivity which is almost in the form of a monopoly. So, a company who has taken the patent will be getting an exclusive right to prevent anybody else from manufacturing or selling the patented product. So, this means they will have an exclusive right to monitor and prevent counterfeit or inferior products coming to the market. This will automatically lead to a scenario where there will be a control over counterfeit or inferior products. So, it will in effect lead to a situation where products having high quality and which will not be detrimental to patient safety will be available to the general public. Ensuring this protection is crucial for preserving the patient well-being, fostering confidence in the healthcare system and preserving the integrity of pharma sector. Intellectual property rights also aids the pharmaceutical business. Intellectual property rights have substantial influence on pharmaceutical industry across multiple aspects such as drug exploration, advancement, pricing, distribution, competitive analysis and the accessibility and expense of novel drugs. The rapid expansion of pharmaceutical enterprises can be attributed to enhanced intellectual property rights. So, now let us see what are the different forms of intellectual property rights which are used by the pharmaceutical industry. Now, let us see the patents. Patents are used to protect pharmaceutical innovations like drugs, devices and many other products that are sold in the healthcare industry. All these products may have a mark or logo denoting the manufacturer. That will be protected under the trademark law. So, all the logos, labels are protected under the trademark law. Then copyright will be used mainly to protect softwares or computer programs which are used in the healthcare industry. Apart from softwares, there will be different manuals, periodicals or different reference books which can also be protected under the copyright. And there could also be designs or formulations which could be represented in graphical format. These are also protectable under the copyright law. So, the most common forms of intellectual property rights which are used in pharma industry are patent, trademark and copyright. But this does not mean that other forms of intellectual property rights are not used by pharma industry. For example, designs or the Design Act will be used to protect designs of various products in the pharmaceutical industry. Like medical devices may have a design, pharmaceutical drugs may have a design which is not functional in nature. So, they could be protected under the design copyright. Apart from design copyright, there could be protection under the semiconductor chips protection law. So, pharmaceutical devices may have semiconductor chips of very advanced nature. They can also be protected under the sui generis system of semiconductor chips protection law. Apart from all these statutory forms of intellectual property right, many research and development activities in the pharma industry are protected as trade secrets. Now, let us see patents in detail. Patents grant the patentee an exclusive right to prevent anyone from manufacturing, utilizing, selling or proposing to sell the invention described in the patent claim. So, patent protection is given for an innovation, product or process which is eligible under the law. So, if an innovation is developed by an inventor, then he has to apply for the patent. Then the patent office will scrutinize the application and see whether it is satisfying the eligibility criteria. So, if it is satisfying the eligibility criteria, it will be considered for grant of the patent after following a due procedure. So, such invention must possess novelty, utility, functionality and inventiveness, and it should not be obvious. Patents in the healthcare sector covers innovations related to pharmaceuticals like the method of production and utilization, medical treatment plans, surgical procedures, medical devices, healthcare information technology for the hospital and healthcare management systems. This will also include softwares for managing hospital bed usage, care distribution, medical staff allocation, cost control as well as combination of all these things. The healthcare innovations protected through patents, some common examples are medical devices and surgical tools. So, there are a lot of medical devices and surgical tools which are in the form of mechanical device or electronic device. They can be easily protected under the patent law. And then there could be drugs which are the pharmaceutical medicines which are a common example of patented products. Then there are other different kinds of technology which are used in the healthcare industry. They can also be protected through the patent law. Then the various processes of medical and surgical methods may also be patentable in some jurisdictions, but some jurisdictions has lot of limitations with regard to what could be protected in the healthcare sector. We will be seeing this in detail in the coming lectures. Then healthcare management tools can also be protected as an invention under the patent law. There are a lot of benefits from patenting a pharmaceutical innovation. Patents serve the dual purpose of encouraging the innovation and guaranteeing accessibility of technological progress to the general population. So, striking a balance between the demands of the general public and the concerns of patent owners can be challenging in the context of public health, and this often leads to a crisis. So, on the one side, we had to ensure that pharmaceutical products or the drugs are available to everyone. So, the accessibility of this technological progress should be made available or ensured to the general population. On the other side, the interest of the industry who are working in the healthcare sector should also be protected. So, striking a balance is sometimes challenging. This will lead to policy issues, which we will be discussing in detail in a coming lecture. The development of novel drugs entails thorough research, significant financial commitment, regulatory approval process, and expensive clinical trials. So, patents serve as motivators for individuals who create novel medicines, heightening their inclination to invest funds in critical study. Efficient utilization of public research and expenditures can be achieved by addressing issues such as ownership of discoveries arising from public research and licensing regulations. Now, let us see trademarks in detail. Trademark is a distinctive symbol or a sign that serves to differentiate the products of or the service of one company from those of another company. So, trademarks serves the function of indicating the source of a product or a service. So, trademarks can be applied to a product or it can also be applied to a service. The majority of the trademarks are comprised of names such as the name of the company or the trading or a brand of the product or the service. It may also be in the form of a logo. It is feasible to safeguard additional distinctive characters such as shape, color and sound. So, even the shape, color and sound can also be protected under the trademark law to some extent. There is a requirement that it should be capable of being graphically represented. So, under the Indian law, a trademark could be registered or protected only if it is capable of being represented graphically. So, so far as it can be represented in a graphical form, shapes, colors and sounds can also be protected under the trademark law. So, the shape or color of a drug, for example, a tablet, the color of a tablet or its shape may also be protected as a trademark under the Indian law. The pharmaceutical trademarks sometimes derive the brand name or the drug name from the medicine's method of action, salt content or other relevant medical terms. A customary convention in the healthcare industry is to assign a medication a name that corresponds to the organ it targets, the specific condition it addresses or the primary ingredient in the drug. So, you might have heard the names of various tablets or ointments which are available across the counter. So, they may have names which have some relation with the disease for which it is intended or with the chemical composition of that particular drug. So, it is a common practice in pharmaceutical industry to derive the nomenclature from at least a part of the nomenclature from the organ it targets or the specific disease condition or the primary ingredient in the drug. It is important to note that Section 13 of the Trademark Act of 1999, which is the Indian legislation, prohibit the use of chemical name as a trademark. So, chemical name cannot be normally registered as a trademark in India. So, it is usually combined with an invented term and then used as a trademark by the pharmaceutical companies. To mitigate the risk of consumer misunderstanding and potential harm to their health, it is imperative to prevent any similarity in pharmaceutical names. By utilizing trademarks, firms may effectively monitor the market and prevent the counterfeit drugs. So, apart from protecting the interest of the companies, trademark also has a function in protecting the interest of the consumers. So, if the trademark is so unique the consumer will be able to easily identify the drug. So, take a scenario where the doctor has prescribed a medicine and you are going to a pharmacist for purchasing the medicine. So, once you pronounce the name of the medicine, if there are a lot of similar drugs available in the market, the pharmacist may be confused and may give you a different medicine. You may also be confused and may take the medicine without proper check. This can lead to serious health consequences. But if the trademark is so unique and there is proper monitoring mechanism to ensure that counterfeit drugs are not available in the market, then the quality of the drug and the health of the patient can be protected. The purpose of the trademark is thus to safeguard the distinctiveness and exclusivity of the mark. The medical professionals and patients often struggle to recall or correctly spell the common name because of the resemblance between the generic name of the same category. So, many times there are a lot of tablets or medicines available in the market with similar names. So, easily recalling the name or correctly identifying the spelling of the drug may be a challenge if there is resemblance between several medicines. So, the healthcare experts utilize distinct trademarks linked to each pharmaceutical medication to ensure the accurate administration of the treatment. So, now let us discuss a case which is Cadila Healthcare Limited versus Cadila Pharmaceuticals, which is a Supreme Court decision from 2001. There was a medicine named Falsigo developed by Cadila Healthcare Limited, which has obtained the trademark for treating cerebral malaria caused by a parasite which is known as falciparum parasite. So, as you can see, the first part of the trademark falsi had come from the parasite which is causing the malaria. A year later, another company named the drug used to treat the same disease as Falsitab. So, the second drug is coming to the market with the only difference that the second part of the trademark is different, because the first part is taken from the name of the parasite which is causing the disease condition. So, the appellant initiated the legal proceeding in the district court with the aim of restricting the use of the term Falsitab. Despite both drugs being available only with prescription, the Supreme Court acknowledged that this alone is insufficient to prevent the confusion. So, one contention raised before the court was that this is a drug which is coming in Schedule H and will only be given to the patient based on a prescription from a registered medical practitioner. So, the argument was made that pharmacists will easily understand the difference between Falsigo and Falsitab. So, thus there is no need of preventing the second drug from coming to the market, because there is no scope for confusion. But the Supreme Court rejected this argument on the following grounds. First is, regardless of how tightly the availability of medicinal products is regulated, drugs intended for similar ailments always carry an element of risk. The risk is grounded in potential difference in composition, side effect and the consequences of purchaser confusion, which can be unpleasant if not disastrous, based on two important points. One is that regardless of how tightly the availability of medicinal products is regulated, drugs intended for similar ailments always carry an element of risk. The risk is grounded on the potential difference in composition, side effect and consequences of purchaser confusion, which can lead to unpleasant if not disastrous, may even result in loss of life or other serious health problems. Second is infrastructural difficulties built into the medical profession in India, linguistic, urban, rural, accidental negligence. It would be public interest to stand behind a lower threshold for establishing deceptive similarity in trademark cases involving medicinal products. So, accordingly, the Supreme Court clarified that the second trademark would be a violation of the rights of the first trademark, because otherwise it will lead to confusion on the part of the consumer. Now, let us discuss about copyright. Copyright is a form of intellectual property that safeguards the original work of authorship once the creator has fixed the work in a medium of expression. Copyright law encompasses a wide range of creative works, which includes paintings, pictures, graphics, musical compositions, sound recordings, computer programs, novels, poems, blog posts, movies, architectural works, plays, and several other forms of artistic expression. Copyright and healthcare. Clinical advice and information supplied on any medium may fall under the purview of the Copyright Act. An elementary compilation of data is not subject of copyright regulation. This argument is based on the concept or set of the Bro, which states that copyright protection for content such as tables or databases is contingent upon an individual making independent efforts to acquire the information regardless of its originality. So, this is actually the copyright is used to protect the different aspects in the healthcare industry, which may include informations, which may include databases, which may include any manuals or scientific data which is used in the healthcare industry. The advancement of technology leading to an increased influence of software on the medical innovation has also led to increased use of copyright in the healthcare industry. The softwares or computer programs are also protected under the copyright. Currently, software governs all aspects of our life, ranging from accurate analytical and diagnostic tools to advanced surgical gadgets that integrate state-of-the-art hardware with advanced analytics and controls. So, they are all protected under the copyright law. It is imperative that software utilized in healthcare sector and other allied sectors are safeguarded by copyright, because there is a need for increased innovations in the healthcare sector in order to cater to the needs of global public health crisis. The significance of databases in healthcare industry is also increasing. There is also a wave of informatics which is rapidly spreading across the industry sectors. So, more and more corporations in the pharmaceutical industry is starting to utilize the technology for data interchange in order to enhance the quality. So, all these sectors are protected under copyright law. To conclude, the healthcare sector is experiencing substantial transformations primarily driven by recent technological advancements. Patents, copyrights and trademark are the prominent and most widely used forms of intellectual property protection which are recognized by the legal framework. In order for India's public health industry to sustain its growth and prosperity, it is imperative to achieve a seamless integration of intellectual property rights and public health objectives. The references of this lecture can be seen here. Thank you very much for listening to the lecture. I hope you are all enjoying the course.